The radio signals from Earth had been weak at first. Commander Veltar of the Nexian Empire sat in his command chair, watching the strange patterns on his screen. His ship was one of the biggest in the Galactic Federation fleet. It had traveled through space for 3 months to reach this small blue planet. "Sir, we are getting closer to their world," said his officer. "The signals are getting stronger now." Veltar nodded. He had done this many times before. New planets with new species always sent out radio waves when they started to learn about technology. Most of them were simple creatures who barely knew how to make fire. This planet called Earth would be no different. "What do we know about these humans?" Veltar asked. His science officer looked at his notes. "They are small creatures, sir. They live on the surface of their planet. They have only 2 arms and 2 legs. They seem to fight each other a lot. We have seen explosions on their world, but they are very small." Veltar laughed. "Small explosions? What do they use, rocks and sticks?" "Something called nuclear weapons, sir. But they are very weak. Our mining ships use bigger explosions every day." The other officers on the bridge started laughing too. They had seen many worlds like this. Small creatures who thought they were strong because they could make tiny explosions. It was always funny to see how proud they were of their simple weapons. Captain Deho was in the command center on Earth when the alien ship appeared. He had been waiting for this day since the space telescopes first detected the strange object moving toward their solar system. His hands were steady as he looked at the massive ship on his screen. It was bigger than anything humans had ever built. "Sir, they are sending us a message," said his communications officer. "Put it on the main screen," Deho said. The screen filled with the image of an alien creature. It had blue skin and 4 eyes. When it spoke, the words came through a translator device. "Greetings, humans of Earth. I am Commander Veltar of the Galactic Federation. We come in peace to welcome you to the greater galaxy." Deho stood up straight. "This is Captain Deho of the Korean Space Defense Initiative. We represent Earth in this first contact. We also come in peace." Admiral Soo-jin watched from the back of the room. She had been in the military for 30 years. She knew how to read people, and she could read aliens too. This Commander Veltar was looking at them the way adults look at children playing with toys. The alien continued talking. "We would like to invite some of your leaders to our ship. We have much to discuss about your future in the galaxy." Deho looked back at Soo-jin. She nodded slowly. They had planned for this moment. "We accept your invitation, Commander. I will bring a small team." 2 hours later, Deho was walking through the corridors of the alien ship. With him were Admiral Soo-jin, Diplomatic Officer Min-ho, and Commander Ji-woo. The alien ship was huge and filled with technology that seemed impossible. Lights floated in the air without any support. Walls changed color as they walked past. Commander Ji-woo was secretly recording everything with a small device hidden in her uniform. Every weapon, every door, every control panel was being saved to memory. Her job was to learn as much as possible about alien technology. They entered a large room where Commander Veltar was waiting. With him were several other aliens from different species. Some had green skin, others had scales like reptiles. They all looked at the humans with the same expression: amusement. "Welcome aboard the Starwind," Veltar said. "Please sit down. We have much to discuss." The humans sat in chairs that adjusted to their bodies automatically. Min-ho opened his briefcase and pulled out documents about Earth and human civilization. "These are files about our planet and our people," Min-ho said. "We have been spacefaring for over 60 years. We have colonies on our moon and Mars. We have explored our entire solar system." One of the alien officers, a green-skinned creature, started laughing. 60 years. We have been traveling between stars for 60,000 years. Another alien, this one with scales, looked at the human documents. "You have been to your moon? How cute. Our children take trips to other star systems for school vacations." Soo-jin felt her jaw tighten, but she kept her face calm. These aliens were treating humans like they were barely intelligent animals. Veltar waved his hand for silence. Now, everyone starts somewhere. Humans, we are here to offer you membership in the Galactic Federation. You would be junior. Members, of course. Very junior. You would learn from the older, wiser species. What would this membership involve? Deho asked. Simple things, Veltar said. You would provide resources from your planet, food, metals, water. In return, we would protect you from dangerous species in the galaxy. There are some very bad creatures out there who might want to hurt you. The scaled alien leaned forward. "Show us your weapons," he said. "We want to see what you use to protect yourselves." Minho hesitated, then activated a holographic display. It showed images of human military equipment, tanks, fighter jets, ships, and nuclear missiles. The aliens looked at the display for a moment, then burst into laughter. The sound filled the room and echoed off the walls. "Those are your weapons?" the green alien asked, wiping tears from his eyes. "Those tiny metal boxes that roll on the ground? And these flying machines?" The scaled alien pointed at the fighter jets. "They move so slowly. Our cargo ships are faster than your fastest military aircraft." Veltar was shaking his head with a smile. "Nuclear weapons with only megatons of power? Our mining equipment uses gigatons every day just to break up asteroids. Your most powerful weapons are weaker than our construction tools." Sujin watched their faces carefully. These aliens had no respect for human capabilities. They saw Earth as a weak planet full of primitive creatures. That could be useful information. "How do you travel between stars?" Jiwoo asked, still recording. "Everything!" "Hyperspace drives," Veltar said proudly. "We can cross the galaxy in days. We have shields that can stop any attack. Our weapons can destroy entire planets if we need to." "That sounds very advanced," Daeho said politely. "It is beyond your understanding," Veltar said, "but do not worry. After a few thousand years of serving the Federation, your species might learn enough to understand basic hyperspace theory." The meeting continued for 3 hours. The aliens explained the rules of the galaxy. Older species were in charge. Newer species served and learned. Humans would be at the bottom of the hierarchy, just above completely mindless creatures. "We will give you 1 week to discuss our offer with your leaders," Veltar said finally. "But really, you have no choice. This is the only way your species can survive in the galaxy." As the humans prepared to leave, the scaled alien whispered something to Veltar. The commander nodded and smiled. "Oh, one more thing," Veltar said. "We noticed you have been sending radio signals into space for many years. You should stop that. Some species in the galaxy do not like noise. They might come to make you stop permanently." Back on Earth, the human delegation sat in a secure briefing room. Commander Jiwoo was uploading all her recordings to the computer systems. "They think we are helpless," Sujin said. "They think our weapons are toys." "That might be good for us," Daeho said. "If they underestimate us, we have an advantage." Minho was reading through his notes. They mentioned dangerous species in the galaxy, species that destroy planets for making too much noise. "Did you notice how they talked about their technology?" Jiwoo asked. "They explained everything like we were children. They told us exactly how their shields work, how their weapons work, even how they travel." Sujin smiled for the first time since the meeting began. "Arrogant enemies make mistakes. They told us their weaknesses without knowing it." "What do we do now?" Daeho asked. Sujin stood up and walked to the window. She could see the alien ship orbiting Earth, huge and powerful, but she was not afraid anymore. "Now we prepare," she said. "They think we are weak. They think our weapons are primitive. They think we are just another simple species that will serve them quietly." She turned back to the others. "They are about to learn that humans are very different from other species they have met." The alien ship left Earth the next day, confident that they had found another easy planet to control. They had no idea that their visit had started something that would change the galaxy forever. 3 months had passed since the aliens left Earth. Fleet Admiral Crixtail of the Zephyrian Collective sat in his command center, looking at the reports from his scouts. The blue planet called Earth was rich in metals and water. The small creatures, called humans, would be easy to remove. "How many ships do we need?" asked his second officer. Crixtal looked at the files about human weapons. Small explosions, slow-flying machines, and metal vehicles that moved on the ground. It was almost insulting to send a real military force against such weak creatures. 12 ships should be enough, he said. "Maybe too many. These humans have no real weapons. They will surrender when they see our power." His officers nodded. 12 ships was a small force for the collective. They usually sent hundreds of ships to fight real enemies. But humans were not real enemies. They were just animals who had learned to use simple tools. On Earth, intelligence analyst Hye Jin was working late in her office. Her job was to watch for signals from space and decode alien messages. For weeks, she had been tracking strange communications from a star system 30 light-years away. Her computer finally finished translating the latest message. As she read it, her face went pale. Fleet deployment authorized. Target, Sol 3. Resistance expected, minimal. Resource extraction begins after population removal. She grabbed her phone and called Defense Minister Tae-sung. It was 3 in the morning, but this could not wait. Sir, we have a problem. The aliens are coming back, and they are not coming to talk. 20 minutes later, Tae-sung was in the emergency command center with General Yuna and Admiral Soo-jin. Hye-jin showed them the intercepted messages. They call Earth Sol 3, and they want to remove our population, she explained. They are sending 12 ships. Only 12? Soo-jin asked. That tells us they still think we are weak. Good, Tae-sung said. Let them think that. How long until they arrive? Based on their travel speed from the first contact, about 18 hours, Hye-jin said. General Yun-ah activated her communication device. All units, this is Red Dragon. Execute Protocol 7 immediately. Around the world, military bases that had been quiet for months suddenly came alive. Soldiers ran to their positions. Massive doors opened in mountains and underground facilities. Equipment that had been hidden since the first alien visit was brought out and prepared. Captain Woo Jin was on Luna Base when the alert came through. He looked out at the Earth below and then at his squadron of fighters. They looked like normal human spacecraft, but they had been rebuilt with new technology based on everything the aliens had told them during first contact. All pilots to your ships, he announced. Today we find out if 3 months of preparation was enough. The Zephyrian fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Krikstal looked at his sensors with satisfaction. No ships waiting to fight them. No defense platforms. The space around Earth looked completely empty. They are not even trying to defend themselves, his sensor officer reported. I detect some small objects near their planet, but they look like communication satellites. Perfect, Krikstal said. Move the fleet toward the planet. Prepare the population removal weapons. The 12 alien ships were huge, each one the size of a human city. They moved slowly toward Earth, confident that nothing could stop them. Their shields were active but set to minimum power. Why waste energy when the enemy had no real weapons? Captain Woo Jin watched the alien ships approach from his hidden position behind the moon. His fighter squadron was invisible to alien sensors because they were powered down and drifting like space debris. All units, this is Wolf Leader, he said quietly into his radio. Wait for my signal. On Earth, Dr. Chang Min was in the main command center, watching the alien ships on the big screen. Around him, technicians were preparing weapons that the aliens had never seen before. Distance to target? He asked. 2 million kilometers and closing, came the reply. Activate the satellites. Around Earth, hundreds of objects that looked like simple communication satellites suddenly unfolded. Solar panels moved aside to reveal long metal barrels. Power systems that had been sleeping for months came online. Krikstal was reviewing the attack plan when his sensor officer suddenly shouted, Sir, the satellites around the planet, they are not satellites, they are weapons. Before Krikstal could respond, the first human weapon fired. It was not an energy beam or a plasma bolt like the aliens expected. It was a simple metal rod, but it was moving at incredible speed. The rod hit the lead Zephyrian ship and punched straight through its shield like it was not there. The alien shield was designed to stop energy weapons, not solid objects moving at such high velocity. The rod continued through the ship's armor and out the other side. Impossible, Krikstal shouted. Their primitive weapons cannot penetrate. Our shields! The second rod hit his ship and tore through the bridge. The third rod hit the engine section. In 30 seconds, 3 of the largest ships in the Zephyrian fleet were dead in space. Return fire, Krikstal ordered from the emergency command center. The remaining alien ships turned their energy weapons toward Earth. Bright beams of plasma shot across space, but they hit nothing. The human weapons had already moved. What the aliens thought were fixed satellites were actually mobile platforms that could change position quickly. More metal rods fired from different directions. Each one was aimed at the alien ship's weak points, spots that the aliens had unknowingly revealed during their first visit to Earth. The humans had learned the exact frequency of alien shields and the location of critical ship systems. Captain Wu Jin chose this moment to attack. All units, this is Wolf Leader. Execute attack pattern Alpha. 20 human fighters came around the moon at maximum speed. They looked small compared to the giant alien ships, but they were fast and hard to hit. More importantly, they carried weapons specifically designed to fight aliens. The fighters launched missiles that did not explode against the alien hulls. Instead, they attached themselves and began drilling through the armor. Once inside, they released electromagnetic pulses that shut down alien electronics. What kind of weapons are these? Krikstal screamed as his ship's systems failed one by one. His science officer was looking at the sensor data with terror. Sir, these humans, they knew exactly how our shields work. They knew where our weak points are. This is not primitive technology. This is advanced warfare designed specifically to fight us. Another alien ship exploded as a human kinetic weapon hit its power core. The explosion was so bright it could be seen from Earth with the naked eye. Retreat, Krikstal ordered. All ships retreat immediately. But it was too late for most of his fleet. Only 3 Zephyrian ships had working engines. They turned and ran toward the edge of the solar system while human weapons continued to fire at them. On Earth, Colonel Yunji was watching the battle from a mountain command post. She was in charge of ground defenses, but it looked like the aliens would never make it to the planet's surface. Sir, her communications officer said, the alien ships are trying to escape. Let them go, she replied. We want survivors to tell the galaxy what happened here. Dr. Kyung-ho was in his laboratory, monitoring the electromagnetic pulse devices hidden around Earth. If any alien ship had made it through the space defenses, his weapons would have shut down all their technology the moment they entered the atmosphere. But the aliens never got that close. In less than 1 hour, 9 of their 12 ships were destroyed. The remaining 3 ships limped away at maximum speed, carrying news of the disaster back to their home worlds. Engineer Sang Ho was working frantically in his workshop. During the battle, he had managed to attach small tracking devices to the escaping alien ships. The devices were invisible to alien sensors and would follow the ships wherever they went. Did it work? Admiral Su-jin asked as she entered the workshop. Yes, ma'am, Sang Ho replied. We now know exactly where they are going. We will know the location of their homeworlds within days. Su-jin smiled grimly. Excellent. Now they will report to their leaders that humans are not as weak as they thought. What do you think they will do next? Sang Ho asked. They will send more ships, Su-jin said. Many more ships. They will try to overwhelm us with numbers. Are we ready for that? Su-jin walked to the window and looked up at the stars. In space, human salvage crews were already collecting pieces of alien technology from the destroyed ships. Every piece would be studied and used to make human weapons even better. We have been preparing for this moment since the first aliens arrived, she said. They thought we were primitive creatures playing with simple tools. They had no idea that everything they told us about their technology was being used against them. She turned back to Sang Ho. The galaxy thinks humans are weak. They think our weapons are toys. They are about to learn that the most dangerous enemy is the one you underestimate. In space, the 3 surviving Zephyrian ships finally reached hyperspace and disappeared. They carried with them a message that would shock the galaxy. The humans were not helpless prey. They were predators who had been hiding their true nature. The real war was about to begin. The news reached the Zephyrian homeworld in 3 days. High Command could not believe the reports from the surviving ships. 9 warships destroyed by primitive humans? It was impossible. You are telling me that creatures who fight with chemical explosions defeated our fleet? Supreme Admiral Zexkari asked the trembling captain who had escaped from Earth. Yes, sir. But their weapons were not what we expected. They used solid projectiles moving at incredible speeds. Our shields could not stop them. Zexkari looked at the battle recordings. The human weapons did look primitive, but they were clearly designed to defeat Zephyrian technology. Someone had studied their ships very carefully. These humans are more clever than we thought, he said finally. But cleverness cannot defeat overwhelming force. Prepare the Grand Fleet. The Grand Fleet was 200 ships strong. It was the largest military force the Collective had ever assembled. No planet had ever resisted when the Grand Fleet arrived. On Earth, Lieutenant Colonel So Young was in the Orbital Command Center when the tracking signals showed the alien fleet leaving their homeworld. The fleet was massive, far bigger than anything humans had faced before. "How many ships?" she asked her sensor operator. 200 confirmed, sir. Maybe more." So Young felt her heart rate increase, but her voice stayed calm. "Time to arrival?" 72 hours at their current speed. She activated the emergency communication system. "All stations, this is Orbital Command. Execute Protocol 9. Full deployment of all assets." Around Earth and throughout the solar system, things that had been hidden began to reveal themselves. The asteroid belt suddenly filled with human ships that had been disguised as Space Orcs. The mining stations on Mars opened up to show massive weapon platforms. Even the moon split open in several places, revealing underground shipyards. Captain J1 was commander of the human Wolfpack squadrons. His ships were small and fast, built for hit-and-run attacks. As he looked at the size of the approaching alien fleet, he knew the battle would be different this time. "All pack leaders, this is Alpha Wolf," he said into his communicator. "The aliens are bringing everything they have. We need to use every trick we know." His ships were hidden inside hollowed-out asteroids throughout the solar system. The aliens would not see them until it was too late. Colonel Yunji was on Earth's surface, making final preparations for ground defense. This time, the aliens might actually reach the planet. Her electromagnetic pulse weapons were ready, but she hoped they would not be needed. Dr. Kyung-ho was in his laboratory, putting the finishing touches on his latest creation. If alien troops landed on Earth, they would find that the planet's atmosphere itself had become a weapon. The Zephyrian Grand Fleet dropped out of hyperspace like an invasion from nightmares. 200 massive ships spread across the solar system in perfect formation. Each ship was the size of a human city. Together, they carried enough firepower to destroy multiple planets. Supreme Admiral Zexkari stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the small blue world ahead. This time, there would be no mistakes. "Begin long-range bombardment," he ordered. "Destroy anything that looks like a weapon or a ship." Energy. Beams shot out from the alien fleet toward Earth and the surrounding space. They hit what looked like human defense platforms and destroyed them easily. Explosions lit up the darkness as human installations were vaporized. "Sir," his sensor officer reported, "we are detecting no return fire. The humans appear to have been destroyed." Zexkari frowned. It seemed too easy. "Continue the bombardment. Destroy everything." For 2 hours, the alien fleet fired at anything human-made in the solar system. Satellites, space stations, and defensive platforms were all destroyed. When the shooting stopped, space around Earth looked empty. "All human resistance eliminated," the sensor officer announced. That was when Lieutenant Colonel So Young gave the order she had been waiting to give. "All units, this is Orbital Command. The enemy has revealed their positions. Execute Pattern Delta." What the aliens had destroyed were decoys, fake installations built to look like real defensive platforms. The real human weapons had been hidden and waiting. The asteroids around the alien fleet suddenly came alive. What looked like space rocks opened up to reveal massive railguns that fired solid projectiles at incredible speeds. The projectiles were not just metal rods this time. They were guided missiles with nuclear warheads designed to penetrate alien shields. Captain J1 led his wolf packs out of their hiding places. Hundreds of small human ships appeared from behind moons, inside asteroid fields, and from the dark side of planets. They moved fast and attacked from all directions at once. "Remember," J1 told his pilots, "their shields cannot stop solid objects moving fast enough. Use kinetic weapons first, energy weapons second." The alien fleet found itself under attack from every direction. The humans had learned from the first battle. They knew exactly how alien shields worked and had built weapons specifically to defeat them. Zexkari watched in horror as his ships began to explode one by one. The human weapons were incredibly precise. Every shot hit critical systems, shield generators, weapon arrays, engine cores. "How do they know where to aim?" he shouted at his officers. His tactical officer was studying the attack patterns with growing fear. "Sir, they know the exact design of our ships. They know where every important system is located. This is not lucky shooting. This is surgical precision. A human missile punched through the flagship's shields and hit the main reactor. Emergency lights flickered on as primary power failed. All ships, retreat to defensive formation Theta, Zexkari ordered. But the aliens could not retreat fast enough. The humans had surrounded them completely. Small ships darted between the massive alien vessels, firing weapons that shut down electronics and disabled engines. Tactical Officer Mi-young was coordinating the battle from Earth. She watched as human computer viruses, transmitted by the attacking ships, began to infect alien systems. The viruses had been designed using information gathered during the first contact meeting months ago. "Virus deployment successful," she reported. "Enemy ships are losing navigation and weapon control." The alien fleet was in chaos. Ships collided with each other as their steering systems failed. Weapons fired randomly as targeting computers malfunctioned. Some ships began attacking their own allies as the human viruses confused their identification systems. Scientist Dong Hyun was watching the battle from his research station. His biological weapons were ready to deploy if any aliens made it to Earth's surface. But it looked like they would not be needed. The aliens were being destroyed in space. His weapons were designed to attack alien cellular structure based on biological samples the humans had secretly collected during the first meeting. The weapons would cause rapid aging and organ failure in aliens while being completely harmless to humans. After 6 hours of fighting, the Grand Fleet was no longer grand. Of the 200 ships that had arrived, only 30 were still capable of moving. The rest were either destroyed or drifting helplessly in space with no power. "Sir," the communications officer said to Zexkari, "we are receiving a message from the humans." "Put it on screen," Zexkari said weakly. The image of Admiral Su-jin appeared on the alien view screen. She looked calm and professional, like someone discussing a business meeting rather than a battle. "Supreme Admiral Zexkari," she said, "this is Admiral Su-jin of the Human Defense Force. You came to our system to destroy us. Instead, you have lost 90% of your fleet." Zexkari stared at the human woman. "How do you know my name?" "We know many things about you and your people," Su-jin replied. "We know the location of your home worlds. We know the composition of your fleets. We know your military tactics and your technology weaknesses." "That is impossible. We never told you those things." Su-jin smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "You told us everything we needed to know during our first meeting. Every casual comment about your shields, every boastful statement about your weapons, every detail you shared about your faster-than-light travel. We recorded it all and used it against you." Zexkari felt a chill run through his body. The humans had been gathering intelligence from the very beginning. What he thought was primitive curiosity had actually been military reconnaissance. "You have two choices," Su-jin continued. "You can try to fight with your remaining ships and be completely destroyed, or you can leave our system immediately and never return. And if we choose to leave, then you will carry a message to the rest of the galaxy. Tell them that humans are not the weak prey they thought we were. Tell them that we prefer peace, but we are very, very good at war." Zexkari looked around his damaged bridge. His officers were staring at him, waiting for orders. Outside, human ships were surrounding the surviving alien vessels but not attacking. "We will leave," he said finally. "Wise choice," Su-jin replied. "But remember this. If any alien fleet enters our system again with hostile intent, we will not give them the option to surrender. We will follow them home and destroy their worlds." The remaining 30 alien ships limped toward the edge of the solar system. As they prepared to enter hyperspace, Zexkari realized the true horror of what had happened. The humans had not just defeated the Grand Fleet. They had been preparing for this war since the first contact. Every piso. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council was the largest in 5,000 years. Representatives from every major species sat in the Great Hall on Centralis Prime. The topic was simple but terrifying. What to do about the humans. Commander Veltar of the Nexian Empire stood before the assembly. His proud bearing from months ago was gone. Now he looked like someone who had seen something impossible. "Fellow beings," he began, "we face a threat unlike any in galactic history. The humans are not what we thought they were." High Senator Kilvana of the Alteran Republic interrupted him. "You are telling us that a primitive species destroyed 2 fleets? That is ridiculous. I have seen the battle recordings, Veltar replied. The humans did not just defeat our ships. They completely destroyed them using weapons designed specifically to counter our technology. They knew exactly how our shields work. They knew where our weak points were located. The Great Hall erupted in angry voices. Some representatives refused to believe the reports. Others demanded immediate action. The Nexian Empire's request for a military alliance was causing chaos. Supreme War Leader Thekmor of the Krenari Dominion stood up. His species were known as the best fighters in the galaxy. If these humans are so dangerous, why do we not simply eliminate them before they become stronger? Because, Veltar said quietly, they may already be stronger than all of us. The hall fell silent. The idea that a single planet could threaten the entire galaxy was unthinkable. In the Sol system, Admiral Jin Suk was preparing humanity's first interstellar military operation. The tracking devices Engineer Sang Ho had placed on the alien ships were working perfectly. Humans now knew the location of 17 alien worlds. "How many ships do we have ready?" she asked her staff officers. Commander Hyun Woo checked his reports. 200 fully operational warships, plus support vessels. The asteroid shipyards have been working non-stop since first contact. Jin Suk nodded. The alien attacks had actually helped humanity by forcing them to reveal their hidden military capabilities. Now that the secret was out, there was no need to hide anymore. "Our primary targets are the Zephyrian worlds," she said, pointing to a star map. "They started this war. We will finish it." Tactical Officer Mi Young was at her station, coordinating with intelligence services across Earth. "Admiral, we have a complete picture of Zephyrian military capabilities. Their remaining fleets are scattered across 8 star systems." "Perfect," Jin Suk said. "We will hit all 8 systems simultaneously. They will not have time to coordinate. A defense." The human fleet that left Earth was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The ships were built using a combination of human engineering and captured alien technology. They were faster than most alien ships and carried weapons that could penetrate any known shield system, but speed and weapons were not humanity's greatest advantage. Their greatest advantage was surprise. The aliens still thought of humans as a defensive species that would stay in their home system. Commander Hyun Woo led the assault on the Zephyrian homeworld. His fleet emerged from hyperspace already firing. The alien defense platforms were destroyed before they could raise their shields. "Remember," he told his captains, "we are not here to occupy territory. We are here to send a message." The message was delivered by nanomachine swarms, clouds of microscopic robots that consumed alien technology and converted it into raw materials for more human ships. Within hours, the Zephyrian orbital defenses were gone, consumed by machines, too small to see. On the planet's surface, millions of Zephyrians watched in terror as their mighty fleet was eaten alive by what looked like empty space. The nanomachines were invisible to the naked eye, but their effects were clearly visible as ships and space stations simply disappeared. Tactical Officer Mi Young was coordinating attacks on multiple worlds from her command ship, her quantum computer. Arrays were processing information faster than entire alien civilizations could think. "Target 2 is neutralized," she reported. "Target 3 is under attack. Target 4's defense fleet is trying to escape." "Do not let them escape," Hyun Woo ordered. "We want the galaxy to know what happens when someone attacks humanity." The Zephyrian defense fleet at Target 4 tried to retreat, but they found their path blocked by human ships that had somehow predicted their escape route. The aliens realized with growing horror that the humans were not just attacking, they were thinking several moves ahead. Dr. Dong Hyun was aboard the medical ship that followed the attack fleet. His biological weapons were finally being used. In combat, as human forces landed on alien worlds, they released agents tailored specifically to Zephyrian physiology. The biological agents did not kill the aliens. Instead, they caused rapid aging and system failures that left the Zephyrians weak and confused. Within days, the entire population of military-age aliens was too sick to fight. "The biological attack is working perfectly," Dong Hyun reported. "Enemy military forces are completely incapacitated. Civilian populations are unharmed. This was part of humanity's strategy. They wanted to defeat the aliens, not exterminate them. Dead enemies could not spread the word about human capabilities. Defeated enemies who were allowed to live would tell everyone about the horror they had experienced. News of the human attacks spread through the galaxy faster than any ship could travel. The reports were so unbelievable that many species refused to accept them. The Alterans insisted that the humans were using some kind of illusion technology. The Krenari claimed that the aliens were lying to make excuses for their failures. The Nexians maintained that a proper military response would easily defeat the humans. Back on Centralis Prime, the Galactic Council was in emergency session for the third day. Representative after representative stood up to demand action against the human threat. "We cannot allow a single species to terrorize the entire galaxy," shouted Senator Kilvana. "We must unite our fleets and destroy them immediately." "With what fleets?" Veltar asked wearily. "The humans have destroyed or disabled everything we have sent against them. They are not fighting like any species we have encountered before." High Military Advisor Zexthul of the Krenari stood up slowly. He was old and had seen many wars. "I have studied the human attack patterns," he said. "They are not random. They are surgical. Each attack is designed for maximum psychological impact with minimum human casualties." "What do you mean?" someone asked. "They could have destroyed entire planets, but they chose not to. They could have killed millions of aliens, but they only targeted military forces. They want us to be afraid, not extinct." The hall was quiet as the representatives considered this. If the humans wanted them dead, they would probably already be dead. "They are using terror as a weapon," Zexthul continued. "They want the galaxy to know that they can destroy anyone, anywhere, at any time. But they also want us to know that they choose not to." Commander Hyunwoo was finishing his mission at the Zephyrian homeworld when he received new orders from Admiral Jin Suk. Phase 2 of the human offensive was about to begin. "All ships, prepare for hyperspace jump," he announced. "New targets have been identified. The Nexian Empire had been demanding a galactic alliance against humanity. Now they would learn what it meant to get humanity's attention." The human fleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind the ruins of the Zephyrian military. On the planet below, the surviving aliens stared up at the sky and wondered if the humans would return. They did not know that every ship leaving their world was being tracked by human surveillance devices. They did not know that their communications were being monitored by human intelligence services. They did not know that humanity now knew the location and capabilities of every major military force in their sector of the galaxy. The Zephyrian survivors sent desperate messages to other alien species, warning them about human capabilities. But the warnings sounded so impossible that most species ignored them. The Nexians were already assembling their fleet for a massive strike against Earth. They had convinced 3 other species to join them in a grand alliance. Together, they would bring 500 ships to destroy the human threat once and for all. They had no idea that the humans already knew about their plans. They had no idea that their communications were being intercepted and decoded by human intelligence. They had no idea that they were walking into a trap that had been designed specifically for them. The galaxy was about to learn that the humans had been preparing for this war for much longer than anyone imagined. Every alien contact, every casual conversation, every piece of shared information had been analyzed and turned into a weapon. The age of alien dominance was ending. The age of humanity had begun. The Grand Alliance fleet was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. 500 ships from 4 different species hung in space like a metal constellation. The Nexian Empire had convinced the Alterans, the Krenari, and the Vorthan Confederacy to join them in one final assault on humanity. Admiral Kolthron of the Nexian Empire stood on the bridge of his flagship looking at the massive fleet around him. Each ship was a masterpiece of alien technology. Together they carried enough firepower to destroy multiple star systems. "Today we end the human threat forever," he announced to his officers. "No single planet can stand against this much power." General Yeon-Su was in the main command center on Earth when the alien alliance fleet was detected at the edge of the solar system. She had been expecting this moment for weeks. Human intelligence had intercepted every message, every plan, every tactical discussion. "How many ships?" she asked her sensor operator. 512 confirmed contacts, came the reply. 4 different species, moving in perfect formation. Yeon-Su smiled grimly. The aliens thought they were bringing overwhelming force. They had no idea what they were really walking into. "Send a message to Admiral Jin Suk," she ordered. "Tell her the party has started." Captain Seok Jin was aboard the human flagship Heaven's Fury when the alien fleet entered the solar system. His ship was one of 50 that had been hidden in the asteroid belt for months, waiting for this moment. "All ships, this is Hammer Leader," he said into his communicator. "The aliens are exactly where we want them. Prepare for Phase 1. By Phia, alien fleet moved slowly toward Earth, confident in their overwhelming numbers. They expected to face desperate human defenders trying to protect their homeworld. Instead, they found something much worse. Dr. Hei-In was in her laboratory aboard the science vessel Prometheus. Her team had been working for months on humanity's most terrifying weapon, controlled gravitational manipulation. Today, they would test it on a real target. "Gravitational field generators are online," she reported to Captain Seok Jin. "Target the enemy flagship." The first sign that something was wrong came when Admiral Colthran's ship began to shake. It was a gentle vibration. At first, like being near a large engine. Then it got stronger. "What is happening?" Colthran demanded. His science officer was staring at his instruments in confusion. "Sir, we are detecting massive gravitational anomalies. Something is pulling on our ship." "That is impossible. Nothing can create artificial gravity fields that strong." But the humans could. Dr. Hei-In watched her instruments as the gravitational weapon began to tear the alien flagship apart. The ship was being stretched like a piece of metal in a machine. Hull plates began to separate. Internal systems failed as the structure twisted beyond its design limits. "Direct hit on enemy flagship," she reported calmly. "Target is breaking apart under gravitational stress." Admiral Colthran watched in horror as his ship began to come apart around him. Emergency bulkheads failed as the gravitational field pulled the ship in different directions at once. His officers were shouting reports, but he could barely understand them over the sound of metal tearing. "All ships, retreat!" he screamed into his communicator. "Retreat immediately!" But it was too late. Captain Seok Jin had given the order for Phase 2. All around the alien fleet, space began to change. Stars that had been stable for billions of years suddenly became unstable. The humans had found a way to manipulate stellar cores from a distance, causing controlled stellar collapse. Commander Jun-Ho was coordinating the largest military operation in human history from his command ship. 47 different alien worlds were under simultaneous attack. Each attack was precisely calculated to cause maximum fear with minimum human losses. "Reports from all sectors," his communications officer announced. "All targets are responding, as predicted." The humans had spent months studying alien psychology. They knew exactly what would terrify each species the most. For some, it was the sight of their technology being consumed by nanomachines. For others, it was watching their strongest ships torn apart by gravitational weapons. The Kranari, who prided themselves on being the best warriors in the galaxy, found their homeworld surrounded by human ships that appeared and disappeared like ghosts. Every time they tried to fight, the humans were somewhere else. The Alterans, who believed in the superiority of their technology, watched helplessly as human computer viruses turned their own weapons against them. Their ships began firing on each other as their targeting systems were compromised. The Vorthans, who had never lost a space battle, discovered that their legendary fleet tactics meant nothing when the enemy could predict their every move. Human ships were waiting in exactly the right place to counter every tactical formation. Dr. Hei-In was preparing for the final demonstration when she received word from Earth. General Yeon-Su wanted the galaxy to see something that would end any thoughts of continued resistance. "Activate the stellar engineering array," Hei-In ordered her team. In the Nexian home system, 3 planets orbited a yellow star similar to Earth's sun. The planets were home to billions of Nexians who had lived there for thousands of years. The star had been stable for so long that the Nexians considered it eternal. They were about to learn that humans could make stars obey their commands. The first change was subtle. The star's light shifted slightly toward the red end of the spectrum. Temperature on the planets dropped by a few degrees. Then the changes accelerated. Solar flares erupted from the star's surface, but they were controlled flares that painted messages in the sky. The flares spelled out words in perfect Nexian script. "Surrender now or face complete destruction." The Nexian population stared up at their sun in terror. the humans had somehow taken control of their star and were using it to send them a message. If humans could control a star, they could destroy it. Admiral Colthran received the surrender messages while his ship was still being torn apart by gravitational forces. His communications officer was trying to establish contact with the human fleet. "This is Admiral Colthran of the Nexian Empire," he said into the communicator. "We request immediate ceasefire and surrender negotiations." The reply came from General Yonsu on Earth. Her image appeared on every screen in the alien fleet. "Admiral Colthran," she said calmly, "you came to our system with 500 ships to destroy humanity. Now you have experienced what happens when humans go to war." "We surrender!" Colthran shouted. "We surrender completely!" "Surrender is not enough," Yonsu replied. "You will carry a message to every species in the galaxy. You will tell them that humans control technology beyond their understanding. You will tell them that we can destroy any world, any fleet, any star system we choose. Around the solar system, the surviving alien ships were being herded together by human forces. Out of 500 ships, less than 50 were still capable of moving. The rest were either destroyed or drifting helplessly. Commander Junho was receiving reports from the 47 simultaneous attacks. Every alien world that had supported the Alliance was now under human control or had surrendered unconditionally. "Total victory across all fronts," he reported to General Yonsu. "Enemy resistance has collapsed completely." Dr. Hei-In was shutting down the stellar engineering array when she received an interesting message from the science team studying captured alien technology. "General," she said to Yeon-su, "our analysis of alien ships shows something important. Their technology is actually very advanced, but they have never faced an enemy that fights the way we do." "What do you mean?" "They design everything for fighting other aliens. Their shields stop energy weapons but not kinetic projectiles. Their sensors detect large objects but miss small ones. Their tactical thinking assumes the enemy will fight honorably." Yonsu nodded. "They never encountered a species that studies its enemies and adapts its weapons accordingly." "Exactly. They have been fighting the same way for thousands of years. We changed the rules of warfare in less than a year." The surviving alien ships were allowed to leave the solar system, but not before human engineers installed monitoring devices on every vessel. The aliens would never again be able to move or communicate without humans knowing about it. As the defeated fleet limped away from Earth, Admiral Colthran realized the full scope of what had happened. The humans had not just won a military victory. They had completely changed the balance of power in the galaxy. The age when alien species could attack weaker worlds without consequences was over. Now there was a species that could strike back anywhere, anytime, with weapons that seemed impossible. The galaxy had created its own nightmare by attacking humanity. Now every alien world lived in fear of what the humans might do next. "Sir," his communications officer said quietly, "we are receiving messages from 17 different alien governments. They are all asking the same question." "What question?" "They want to know how to surrender to the humans before the humans decide to attack them." Colthran closed his eyes. The humans had won more than a war. They had won the galaxy. 6 months after first contact, the galaxy was unrecognizable. The Galactic Federation that had ruled for thousands of years was gone. In its place was something that had never existed before, a government where humans made all the important decisions. President Namjoon stood before the assembled representatives of 47 alien species in what used to be the Federation capital. The great hall that had once echoed with alien voices demanding human submission now listened quietly to human commands. "Members of the new Galactic Union," Namjoon began, "today we establish a different kind of government, one based on ability rather than age, on merit rather than tradition." Admiral Young-A was in orbit above the capital world, commanding a fleet of human ships that ensured the peace talks proceeded smoothly. Every alien delegation had arrived under heavy guard, not because humans feared them, but because the aliens feared each other. "Sir," her communications officer reported, "we are detecting several alien ships attempting to leave the system without permission. Send them a message," Young-A replied calmly. "Remind them that they are free to leave, but they will not be welcome back if they choose to go." The fleeing ships immediately changed course and returned to the planet. No alien species wanted to be excluded from the new galactic government. Being outside human protection in the current galaxy was a death sentence. Dr. Kaite was in his research facility on the capital world, examining the latest alien technology submissions. Every species was now required to share their scientific knowledge with human researchers. In return, humans would share selected technologies that would improve alien lives. The Nexian quantum computer designs are impressive, he told his assistant. But our quantum arrays are still more powerful. We can use their designs to make our computers even better. This was humanity's approach to alien technology. They did not simply copy it. They improved it using human creativity and innovation. Within months, human versions of alien technology were superior to the originals. Former Admiral Cole Thrawn was now serving as a human liaison officer. His job was to help other alien species understand the new reality. It was humiliating work for someone who had once commanded the largest fleet in galactic history, but it was better than the alternative. You must understand, he told the Vorthon delegation, humans do not think like we do. They do not conquer worlds to rule them. They conquer worlds to protect them from other threats. The Vorthon representative was confused. What other threats? Humans have defeated everyone. Exactly, Cole Thrawn replied. That is why they now protect everyone. There are species in the outer galaxy that we never told humans about. Species that would destroy entire civilizations for sport. Now humans are the only thing standing between us and them. This was true. Human deep space exploration had discovered alien species that made the Nexians look peaceful. The Devourers consumed entire planets. The Shadow Fleet enslaved entire star systems. The Void Hunters collected species for unknown purposes. These species had been kept in check by the complex balance of power in the old galaxy. Now that balance was gone, and only human military might prevented them from sweeping through civilized space. Fleet Admiral Day Ho, promoted from his original rank of captain, was leading humanity's expansion into the outer galaxy. His ships carried weapons that the inner galaxy had never seen. Planet killers, star destroyers, and reality-warping devices that made gravitational manipulation look simple. Sir, his scout commander reported, we have made contact with a Devourer fleet. They are heading toward the Alteran worlds. How many ships? Day-Ho asked. 3,000 confirmed contacts. Each ship is the size of a small moon. Day-Ho smiled grimly. The Devourers thought they were dealing with the same weak inner galaxy species they had always bullied. They were about to learn that the galaxy had new management. Deploy the reality distortion array, he ordered. Let's show them what humans can do. The battle against the Devourers lasted less than an hour. Human ships used weapons that attacked the fundamental structure of space-time itself. Devourer ships simply ceased to exist, not destroyed, but removed from reality entirely. The surviving Devourers sent a message to their home fleets. Do not approach the inner galaxy. The humans have weapons that can unmake existence itself. President Namjoon was reviewing reports from across human-controlled space when Admiral Young-A brought him the latest intelligence summary. Sir, we have achieved complete strategic dominance over this sector of the galaxy, she reported. All hostile species have been neutralized or contained. All member species are cooperating fully with human leadership. What about resistance movements? Namjoon asked. None of any significance. The few groups that tried to organize against us were eliminated by other aliens seeking to prove their loyalty to humanity. This was perhaps the most remarkable development. Alien species were now competing to serve humanity most effectively. The former ruling species did whatever humans asked in hopes of maintaining some influence. The former slave species worked harder than ever to prove they deserved human protection. Dr. Kite entered the room carrying a datapad with interesting news. Sir, I have something you need to see. Our analysis of captured alien communications shows something unexpected. What is it? Before humans arrived, the galaxy was actually dying. The older species had stopped innovating. They were using the same technology for thousands of years. Their populations were declining. Their economies were stagnating. Namjoon studied the data. It was true. The galactic civilization that had seemed so advanced was actually in terminal decline. Human arrival has changed everything, Kite continued. Our technology sharing has advanced alien science by centuries in just 6 months. Our economic systems have revitalized their trade networks. Our political systems have ended conflicts that had lasted for generations. So we did not just conquer the galaxy? Namjoon said thoughtfully. We saved it. Admiral Young A nodded. The aliens know this, sir. That is why resistance is so limited. Even the species that hate us admit that the galaxy is better under human leadership. In the outer reaches of human space, Fleet Admiral Day-Ho was establishing the new boundaries of civilized space. Human ships patrolled constantly, keeping the truly dangerous species away from the peaceful worlds of the inner galaxy. His newest ships carried weapons that could destroy entire star clusters if necessary. But more importantly, they carried something else. Human crews who understood that with great power came great responsibility. Sir, his communications officer reported, we are receiving surrender requests from 6 more species. They want to join the Galactic Union. Are they legitimate requests? Day-Ho asked. Intelligence confirms they are sincere. These species have been hiding from the Devourers for centuries. They want human protection. Grant their requests. Assign protection fleets to their worlds. This was humanity's new role in the galaxy. Not just conquerors, but protectors. Every species that accepted human leadership received the full protection of human military might. Those that chose to remain independent were allowed to do so, but they received no protection from the threats lurking in deep space. Back on Earth, the planet that had started it all, life had changed completely. Humans now had access to technologies that had once seemed like magic. Diseases that had plagued humanity for millennia were cured using alien medical knowledge. Energy was unlimited thanks to stellar manipulation technology. Space travel was as easy as driving a car. But perhaps the most important change was in human thinking. The species that had once dreamed of exploring the stars had achieved something greater. They had become the guardians of galactic civilization. President Nam-June stood in his office, looking out at the stars that now belonged to humanity. His reflection in the window showed a man who had helped guide his species from primitives hiding on one small planet to the rulers of an entire galaxy. Sir, his aide announced, Fleet Admiral Day-Ho is reporting from the Outer Rim. The last of the hostile species have been contained. The galaxy is secure. Nam-June nodded. The war that had started with alien arrogance and human deception was finally over. Humanity had won not just through superior weapons, but through superior leadership. The aliens had underestimated human capacity for warfare, but they had also underestimated human capacity for governance. The same creativity that had produced devastating weapons was now being used to build a better galactic civilization. In the end, the galaxy had learned a lesson that would never be forgotten. Never underestimate a species that combines intelligence, creativity, and the will to protect what they consider theirs. The humans had proven that they were capable of destruction beyond alien imagination, but they had also proven that they were capable of building something better than what they had destroyed. The galaxy was in human hands now, and for the first time in thousands of years, it had a future worth believing in.